My name is Joe. I am the operations director at Little Lion Entertainment. What does that mean? Well, Little Lion Entertainment was founded almost 10 years ago now and is an immersive attractions company within the United Kingdom. We create sort of real-world immersive visitor attraction experiences using either sort of real-life sets and live actors or through sort of augmented reality technology. So we are best well known for creating the Crystal Maze live experience, which is based on a big 90s TV show in the UK. Used to be hosted by Richard O'Brien from Rocky Horror fame. And at Little Lion, I look after operations across the group. So our attraction teams based in our Manchester sites in the north of England and right in the centre of London as well. All of our experiences are really putting the guest in the centre of the action. For the Crystal Maze, you complete a number of different challenges within real-life sets. Some of those are physical games, mystery, skill, but all involve a lot of sort of guest participation. And in our sort of more augmented reality side of what we do, which is what we call our arcade arena brand, we work with go-karts, you know, creating video game environments, and also some other sort of physical sort of elements as well with our latest IP, which is PAC-MAN, the live experience, which is incredible. And so our guests do a lot of sort of active participation within those experiences. And obviously from a health and safety point of view, we want to make sure that we understand sort of any additional needs that our guests have, but also we really sort of set those expectations sort of from the front to make sure they have the very best experience, and ultimately that our controls are in place as a business to make sure that both our team and our guests are safe throughout their time. So being able to ensure that on entry, all of our guests complete their waivers, our team know who have completed them, and we're able to sort of capture all of that information, present it in a really nice way to our guests, but also have it, you know, if we ever need it, was really key to us. And that's what made us look for an online solution. The Crystal Maze experience is actually entering its 10th anniversary year next year. So we've been operating in London for 10 years. And for the majority of that time, we were using paper waivers. So we have boxes and boxes and boxes of waivers. So being able to locate those if we ever needed them, or sort of being able to ensure that they were completed was a real challenge. Over the years, we've tried a number of different online solutions, but where we found ourselves sort of 18 months, 2 years ago, when we started looking at WaiverSign, was that some of our sites were paper, some of our sites were using sort of clunkier online systems. But I give you an example, Nikki. If I went to the Crystal Maze in London, our team, you know, weren't always able to tell you who within a group had signed a waiver or not, because they didn't have that visibility of the online system. So we kind of went into this in a bit of a mixed situation where some of our sites were on paper, some of our sites were using online, but it wasn't always quite working. And that's what made us have a little look for something else. Yeah, it was actually a bit of a Google search. So there were some sort of core things that we wanted to achieve with the system and the, you know, the customization and all of that. And to be honest, we tried out a bunch of different systems, and it was really a case of finding the solution that ticked all the boxes for us, allowed us to scale, pricing was right, but also sort of allowed us to really work. And that's where, in that sort of initial reach out to the WaiverSign team, we were able to look at what that solution would appear to be, and that's what we now have today. It was really straightforward. We were able to provide a copy of our existing waivers to the team, and then our kind of areas, our sort of attractions were built out then within the system. We actually started WaiverSign with only one site. So we used it for our Chaos Karts, which is our augmented reality go-karting experience in Manchester, in England. And we sort of introduced it there, and it just went, you know, so smoothly on launch. that really allowed us to then sort of roll that out across our Crystal Maze sites, both in London and in Manchester as well. So no, it was a case of sending through sort of our existing documentation that was then built out by the WaiverSign team, and we were then able to pretty much go straight away. And since then, we have been able to make edits to those documents, really improve the way that flow works, add in our branding, sort of follow up with sort of that marketing data to really improve sort of our post-visit sort of communication and the ability to engage with that group of people as we move forward. So yeah, super easy experience. Traditionally, we always were challenged by the fact that with the Crystal Maze, you play in groups of 8. And usually we have sort of quite big group sizes. So we're not we tend to find we don't have sort of couples or sort of groups of 2 or 3 visiting. We tend to have sort of larger groups of friends, families, work colleagues. And that means that, if say you have 10, 8 plus people in a group, you only have one sort of contact information for that booking. So we would have the lead booker's information, but we would find that we weren't necessarily able to reach out to all of the individuals who were participating. And then 40% of what we do is corporate events. And so we would find that we would be able to speak to maybe the person that had booked a corporate event of 60 to 100 people, but we wouldn't be able to reach out to any of the others. And now, as part of that waiver system, not only are we capturing their sort of key health and safety information and ensuring that we have that in place, but also we're able to sort of utilize those sort of opt-in contact details within WaiverSign so that we can now reach out proactively to sort of every member of a booking. So currently we sort of grab that information from WaiverSign, and then we build out sort of emails and offers and through our CRM system, which allows us to speak to sort of every guest that visited rather than just sort of a small percentage. Probably more hours than I can easily calculate. No, I mean, on a day-to-day basis, in one of our attractions, you would have printing costs of paper waivers, sort of the most analog version. So there would be costs involved with that. There's the organization of those, the filing of those. At one point, we were scanning in every single paper waiver to ensure we had a digital record. So, on a monthly basis, it would be, hundreds of sort of hours or in a month, when we were in the most sort of analog version of our waivers. And that doesn't add in time. If we had to access a waiver sort of post-visit because of maybe a first aid incident or something that we needed to refer back to that, not only that, but then obviously going through the process of trying to locate post-visit. So yeah, when we were at our most analog to now, we'd be talking about, probably hundreds of hours in a month in the administration of that process. So as we mentioned, everything that we do Little Lion Entertainment is active, sort of involved experiences. And as we said, for the Crystal Maze or our go-karting, arcade arena, sometimes therefore guests do, have incidents and there are first aid cases that occur just through the excitement of doing the experiences that we create. And we have a culture of safety and that's at the heart of everything that we do, but you can't mitigate every single risk, possible. When we were working with paper waivers, if we ever needed to sort of follow up with a guest post-visit or be able to provide information for our insurance company, for example, or to be able to follow up with a guest, we'd be going through boxes and boxes of paper waivers trying to find that. Whereas, we link our digital waivers through our booking reference, we have the guest's name, and we can pull that information straight away. So, the administration of sort of an incident for us is now significantly improved. I can literally log in within 2 seconds, look at waivers across any of our sites, and pull that information immediately rather than, at the most analog point, people going through boxes and boxes of paper trying to find sort of a needle in a haystack. I think the best way to look at it is that we haven't needed an awful lot of support, but that's almost the best solution for me as a customer, right? So at the beginning stage during setup, we set up for one site, and then we sort of rolled out across the group. And during that process, it was really simple and easy. Any queries or questions that we've had have been answered sort of really speedily and allowed us to keep in operation. I think it's a really big sort of plus side that we haven't needed to reach out because we haven't experienced any issues with the system and with how we operate. And I think if we look at some of our sites and the stats through WaiverSign, like tens and thousands of waivers have been signed, across our business, if not more at this point, as we're coming sort of steadily through the year. And the fact that we can do that every single day without worrying about downtime or access issues or the system not quite working right is a testament to the product. If you want to know everything about your guests and be able to communicate to them with everyone coming to your experience, and you want to make sure that you're maintaining and championing that safety, as well as obviously the fun, then creating and partnering with someone like WaiverSign with a product that is so easy to use is absolutely a must. And for us, we would recommend the product to others within our industry, but also other businesses that are working with clunky, paper, outdated waiver systems, because for the first 18 months of me working for Little Lion, every week there was another headache relating to not being able to find a waiver or systems not working properly, and now we turned a page and 18 months later that we don't even have to think about it on a day-to-day basis, which for me is ideal. We were always really concerned about being able to easily access multiple sites and attractions within one system, and the fact that you can toggle between business to business and have users who have access to all of our sites and others that only have specific access, that for us was a game changer in our growth and how we'll move forwards as we continue to create more experiences.